Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. On behalf of Industry Developer Bureau, IDB of Taiwan, I would like to welcome you all to MWC 2022 Partner Program. In this panel, we will dive in on DCSG, the game changer in 5G era, seeing that the global supply chain is restructuring along with the development of Open RAN in progress. It has come to our attention that global telecom operators are turning to different vendors for more solution options. Taiwan's ICT industry is well known for excellent capability and flexibility in manufacturing. We believe Taiwan is well positioned to be a key partner to the global 5G supply chain. When it comes to 5G network deployment, white box disaggregated cell site gateway allows transmission from base stations at a reduced cost. Therefore, DCSG has become a crucial part of 5G network deployment to help telecom operators achieve the coverage required for service and operations. This is also where Taiwan's solution providers can come into play. Open and disaggregated 5G networks have brought massive change to the ecosystem. White box solutions are gaining more and more traction to help operators break through vendor lock-in. In the past, there are already many proven track records of Taiwan's ICT industry offering their white box solution to world-leading companies. Some of the examples can be found in white box servers and switches manufactured by Taiwan top-notch ICT companies such as Quanta Computer, Winston, and Edgecore Network to supply to Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and AWS for their data centers. As we find ourselves in the 5G era, we are also seeing similar traction in DCSG. One particular example would be Taiwan's solution provider, UfiSpace. Since 2019, UfiSpace has partnered up with global telecom operators such as AT&T to supply tens of thousands of their white box cell site gateways. Taiwan's ICT supply chain continues to play the role as a key partner to telecom operators worldwide to help advance global development of 5G open networking. We have joined forces with Telecom Infra Project (TIP) to establish a TIP community lab right here in Taiwan. There is a place where solution providers can test mature products and solutions in an end-to-end environment. We hope through this TIP community lab, we can leverage the great synergy between Taiwan's ICT industry and the global ecosystem. It is our hope to help accelerate the development and the deployment of connectivity technology globally, and to deliver the high-quality connectivity the world needs. In this MWC 2022 Partner Program, we are pleased to invite telecom operators, solution providers in hardware and software to join us and to share with their insights and practical experience with DCSG development and deployment. I hope you all enjoy the fruitful discussion. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maggie Zhao, Manager of Communication Industry Development Project Office, delegated by Industrial Development Bureau, MOEA, Taiwan. I'm your host today and welcome you to this IDB E3 TIP Community Lab Series event, the DCSG, the game changer in 5G era, co-organized by IDB and Industrial Technology Research Institute, EG. Disaggregated Cell Site Gateway, DCSG, offers the opportunity to potentially free operators from proprietary lock-in. In open networking, white box solutions can also be paired with open standard software to offer flexibility and economy of scale for 5G network rollout. So in this panel today, we'll bring you the real case from Taiwan Mobile, a leader in innovative telecom service in Taiwan. The UfiSpace, a leading white box solution provider, and their software partner, IP Infusion, a leading provider of network disaggregation solutions, to share their experience and thoughts on how DCSG can be the game changer in 5G era. So now, without further ado, let's welcome our panelists today. So let's welcome Charles Llang, the manager of Taiwan Mobile. Charles, hello.
Hello.
And Ray Zhang, director of UfiSpace. Hello, Ray.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hi. And Rishi Narain, the lead technical marketing engineer from IP Infusion. Hi, Rishi.
Hi, everyone.
And Aseem Ray, technical architecture from IP Infusion. Hi, Aseem.
Hi. Hello.
And please join me to welcome our moderator, Howard Tsao, the CTO of Communication Industry Development Project Office, delegated by IDB or MOEA. So Howard, now you may have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Maggie. Hi, everyone. My name is Howard Tsao, the CTO of IDB and MOEA. I'm currently working with our colleagues for the international collaboration project. Okay, so DCSG, open architecture solutions, and open networking solutions, a topic like this. As we know that 2 or 3 years ago, a lot of people asked me how to build up and roll out the 5G into the live network. I told them that 5G, if you want 5G in place, you better have your transportation layer ready for that. Okay, because a lot of networking people asked me at that time 2 or 3 years ago, they don't know how to prepare for the 5G launch, because 3 years ago Taiwan has just got the 5G spectrum auctioned. All right, so after 1 or 2 years build out, I think pretty much in Taiwan the 5G network already launched and providing the services to the subscribers. Okay, so let's come out because of the openness. Openness is the main technology trend in the recent days. I would say a lot of people calling a network open networking and open architectures, open RAN. Seems like the virtualization technology getting mature. The open interface getting mature. The silicon vendors also get all the processing power getting more powerful. So it seems like the openness and the open interface and open architectures is quite technologically trend for the coming years, and it's moving very fast. The momentum is very fast. So then we come back and talk about the open networking technologies. It's not a new term now. The openness is not a new term. It lasts for last decade, for 10 years, I would say, starting from SDN, now go to the O-RAN, and from the public network goes to the private network. From the consumer market goes to the vertical market, stuff like this. All right. So let's come back to discuss our first questions. What are the business benefits the aggregate network solution such as DCSG bring to various stakeholders in the telecom industry? Because you come from different areas, hardware vendors, software developers, system integrators, as well as the telcos. All right. So what's your viewpoint for this? Because the network is going to open and open. So all the new players coming into this telecom industry. So from your perspective, so how do you see these benefits can bring to different stakeholders. So I would like to start from the end user. Okay, our end user, the telcos. Charles, can you give some your opinions on this?
Yeah, it's a very good question and a common question. My answer for telco views, open specification of DCSG allowed multiple different hardware and software vendors to cooperate, which can reduce CAPEX and OPEX for telecom operators 5G network and avoiding being bounded by equipment vendor. That is my point.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Very good point from the telco point of view. So next, I will say I invite Rishi. So how's your point from SI and software vendors point of view?
From a software side, we have done some detailed analysis around this, and come out with a conclusion or analysis has revealed that, especially from a TCO point of view, when we're talking about disaggregation and when we compare a DCSG solution with a traditional tier 1 solution, it has revealed savings of up to 70% in CAPEX and OPEX. And that is a considerable amount for a longer duration of time for deployment and for use cases. Additionally, we have also seen the benefits of breaking the vendor lock-in. So when we typically talk about vendor lock-in now, the network architects have the capability and are liberated to choose the best of breed from all the components, and they can set up their network with their specific requirements. Also, the flexibility that disaggregation is providing, on the existing infrastructure, we can introduce newer components, the software components at runtime without a major revamp or rehaul of the infrastructure that is needed. We have also seen the scalability aspects of it. Disaggregation, the DCSG solutions have a wide scale options available to the customers. This results in the newer services to be introduced at runtime, as well as the faster time to market. These are the major benefits, and also echoing what the panelists have been saying about the open architecture. With disaggregation, we have seen a lot of drive towards innovation. Since it's based on the open architecture, we are able to leverage a lot of expertise from the open communities. And this results in, a lot of innovation coming in, and we are able to roll up new services and facilities and features based on this new innovation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your point. Next, I will invite Ray from manufacturer point of view. What's your point?
Okay. In the past, the telco industry is actually dominated by black box solutions or the so-called OEM prior. So the limited options induce the difficulty of reduction CAPEX and OPEX, just like Charles mentioned. And also limited option also limited the innovations. So with the disaggregation network solutions, open this market to everyone, which include us, hardware system provider, and also open to lots of nodes options, and as well as open to system integrators. So for us, we actually have lots of chance to talk with different carriers. We can share what's the new solutions that we can provide based on the merchant silicon, which can definitely cost down and optimize carriers' CAPEX and OPEX. As well as for us, this is a blue oceans that we can actually have more profit. And also our customer, the end users, can also reduce the CAPEX and OPEX, as well as our node partner IP Infusions. They, just like us, this is a blue ocean for Llang. They can have more business opportunity as well as more cooperation with carrier directly. So this is actually a 3 wins for different parties.
Okay. Well, very good point. Let's see, as we know your benefits. So this is a new market. A lot of new players get into this blue ocean market, as you mentioned. This brings up to our next question. I think for the greenfielders, very simple for deploy such kind of technology or operation model. For the brownfield operators, usually you have to get into you have to penetrate this market, then you have to consider how to integrate with the legacy system. Okay, because brown operators, they have already implemented different layers of technologies or different layers of transport network in place already. So how to put into this new equipment or new network node into the legacy network? What are the challenges and major considerations you have to be carefully deal with to adopt this white box? And for the massive transportation network deployment, what are the challenges and major considerations that you can think of or you are faced before? Okay, let's start from Charles. Probably from telco point of view, you can give us some more ideas about this because you're running the network on a daily basis. Okay.
Yeah, yes. In addition to the basic network architecture, capacity and function, the major challenge and consideration for telco mainly include the following points. I just take 4.1, design a flexible 10 gigabits per second, 25 gigabits per second, and 100 gigabits per second interface to meet the needs of different scenarios in 4G and 5G network. That is point 1. And point 2 is plan accurate 4G FDD frequency synchronization and 5G TDD phase time synchronization to ensure the normal operation of base station performance. That is point 2. Point 3, the design conforms the QoS and network slicing, etc., corresponding to the 3GPP standards to provide diversified service quality requirements. And last point is plan 99.99% is so-called 49% reliability to 59% reliability of network element equipment to ensure customer quality. That is from telco views.
Okay, well, very good point. So that we can understand what your technical requirements very clearly stated. Okay, so next I will invite Aseem. How do you think from your point of view?
Yeah, so from software point of view or software plus hardware point of view, I think a very basic challenge is first we have to, as you said, to penetrate, right? First, we have to introduce ourselves as a disaggregated systems. And currently, many operators, many telco operators are still in a little bit of resistance to a little bit of hesitant to actually move to the disaggregated system because of little bit of knowledge about the whole ecosystem and how it works. So the first challenge is to we have to put a few presentations or few evaluations, demos to our telco operators to help them understand that this is at par to the technology or to the traditional vendors you are working with. So as Charles mentioned, right, all the speeds variations are provided, the timing accuracy with respect to 4G and even 5G being more, right? It's also provided, and the QoS requirements can also be fulfilled. So all these points we actually go ahead and do the demo. So that's the first step for us to move forward. And then another challenge which we face is we actually have to do a lot of interoperability with different vendors, different other vendors to be able to include ourselves in an already running telco operators network. So for that, we have to do a lot of interoperability, basically with either like community labs or with the telcos help, we actually do interoperability with the different traditional providers. So that's another one. And probably the third one, which I think is also very important, is a long-term support contract with respect to how telco sees it, right? Because telco sees it as a single entity to be managing their support. So, because there are different entities here involved in this whole DCSG ecosystem, they would definitely don't want to, go and talk to different vendors when it comes to support. So they want a single line of support to deal with. So all these are kind of an education to telco operators to help them give a very good environment in this whole DCSG. So that's what I think is the points from our side. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Then I have a quick question for you. Based on you just mentioned all these processes and all these interops testing needs to be done, and you have to also work as single contact windows for the telcos to do the troubleshootings or resolve all those technical issues for them. Start from the beginning up to everything is on track. So usually how long it would take? 3 months, 6 months, 1 year to penetrate as a new player, penetrate the telco market.
I think it to really get into this, it takes on an average it takes probably 6 months or more.
No, 6 months or more.
Yeah, because I think first we have to introduce ourselves, and then there are a lot of departments inside telco, so for them to start working with us, and then we introduce a few new hardware devices as well to be able to meet exact customer demands. And then we move forward for a field trial and then a real live trial, and then we put ourselves into the network. So I think to follow all these processes, right, it definitely takes some good amount of time.
Yeah. Right. What I'm thinking is if you get all these done and plus the procurement process, then you really put your equipment into the live network. Usually it will take about 1 year and 1.5 years.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Ray, from hardware manufacturers, how's your point on this?
I think from our point of view, just like what just mentioned, the biggest challenge is to provide the flexibility and also to consider the interoperability that we can meet the both 4G and 5G network. So let's take an example. For the 1588 timing synchronization, it's a critical part in the transport network, and especially that is a must feature for all the assets, especially the DCSG, communicate in between RU, BBU, and also the backhaul network. So what we can support is to actually work with carrier directly with our FAE and timing expert. We can, based on different customers' requirement. For example, we have customers in Taiwan, in Europe, they need to enable 8275.1 and to optimize their timing synchronization. We can have our system engineer to work with customer at their cell site to optimize. Even at some site, they need to enable the TGN, and some site they don't need. We can, based on different requirements, to optimize and to have a seamless transition. And also, the same box, the same DCSG platform at different sites, for example, North America, they don't need 8275.1, they need 8275.2. Then we can, based on different scenario, customize the configuration, the same box, but different configuration for different site, different customer, and then provide different technical support. So this is first challenge and also our resolution. The second challenge, as I mentioned, services, especially the post services, the technical support. So we know in the past, the black box solutions, they provide a single contact to cover everything. And also, they also hidden everything. But for us, we have hardware, we have nodes, we have system integrator. Both three parties open, so which is actually the main reason we can actually optimize the CapEx and OpEx. And then at the service point, both three parties, we are actually working very closely. We just like a virtual team, although we are three companies. But when we face to our customer, we are a virtual team. At the initial POC stage, we already working together to resolve all the problems when we work with carrier at their lab during the POC, during the lab certification, and even migrate from the certification to field trial or even mass production. We are still working closely to identify it's a hardware or node problem, or it's a very urgent logistic that our hardware provider can support our system integrator to deliver as soon as possible and in time to meet customers' requirement. So we have challenges, but we also have experience to resolve these challenges.
Okay, one quick question. Usually your team are three different kind of companies together, right? To tackle this the market. So you work with hardware vendors, software vendors, system integrators. All these three type of companies are working together to provide the total solution service to the telco. Am I right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Good. Good to see that all these models are in place. Okay, because when you want to replace some of the traditional working models with telcos, this new team up type is very important. Okay.
Yes.
Good point. Good point. Okay, let's spend some time discuss the third questions. As we know that everybody, especially from telcos, they want to avoid the vendor lock-in situation, right? And reach the vendor landscape. And what are the contributions could be addressed as ecosystem partners? You mentioned previously. You mentioned a bit more, because what I'm saying here is for the brownfield operators, right? When you put into a new node, how to minimize the mitigate the migration risk is very important for them. Okay, so how to meet their targets, the operation target. So from your point, to avoid vendor lock-in is one thing, right? But how to minimize the replacement of the legacy systems and minimize the operational risk is another thing, right? From these angles, what are the major contribution you think your company can provide to serve the telco for their operational requirements, I would say. Okay, so Ray, I will start from you because previously you talk a lot. You have different methods to resolve all these barriers, technological barriers. So I will start from you for this.
Okay, as a disaggregated platform supplier at UfiSpace, we actually contribute and open our design to the open community, including TIP and OCP. So far, we already share lots of hardware design, and all of these hardware design have been used by different carriers. And also, at all these hardware platform design, we actually identify lots of key features which are required for different carrier at different scenarios, including DCSG, including core router and edge routers. So at the design and sharing, we actually list all different code configuration and also the design flexibility, as well as the key technology timing synchronization needed for carriers. Let's take a tip as an example. Before we share and contribute our design, we actually sync up with lots of operators from TIP community. So we actually got their requirement, and also not only the one direction receive the requirement, we actually have internal discussion and provide our suggestion, since sometimes operators, they have their requirement, but they did not actually look for what semiconductor or what mature merchant silicon can achieve. So the initial requirement might be very unique or cannot be leveraged by different or lots of all carrier at different sites. After we review this initial requirement, we will provide our comment that based on the current industry, based on the semiconductor or based on the ASIC provider, what's the optimized configuration that you can really cost down and optimize your initial capex. You can also easier to get the material, at this pandemic and material shortage situation.
Yeah.
If there is a very unique part, you cannot get it from the market, which means you cannot get the product. So we can provide our suggestion and make sure this is not unique. And this is actually the one that all carriers can share the same platform and also leverage different node partners, including IP Infusion software, to enable their application.
Okay, good point. All right, Rishi, what's your point?
Right. So like it was being mentioned right now, as an ecosystem partner, the hardware and software partners collaborate very closely, and they provide an overall solution that meets the customer requirements. So like each customer would have specific use cases and specific requirements. So there are a lot of discussions that will happen initially, and we would work closely with our hardware partners like UfiSpace to address all the requirements to the telco, and we propose the solution also. So that is a combination of both the hardware and the software components, which gets proposed to the to the telco as an overall solution. So although there are multiple components to it, but from a telco point of view, it will be like a single point of contact, and they will be interfacing on a like you were mentioning earlier, like all three major components. But from a telco point of view, they will interact with a single entity. So that also helps elevate any hesitation that they might have towards adopting to this kind of a model. Also, like Aseem was mentioning before, there is a lot of feature and capability parity when it comes to the DCSG compared to the traditional tier one solutions which are available in the market. So all the features as well as performance, scalability, those things we are able to meet now with the disaggregated approach. And that also helps educate the operators and ease their stress towards the adoption. The flexibility and the introduction of new services and features that goes on the existing hardware. And we have seen this multiple times that like it was being mentioned, once the project starts, it typically takes about a year to it actually getting realized in a deployment. Now, the initial requirement which came in 1 year back and the final deployment, many a times it is seen that there would be more features which would be needed, or there might be some changing requirements, and those kind of adoptions can very easily happen now. And even like in a shorter time cycle, we will have maintenance releases or even major releases where we can introduce many new features based on the day-to-day requirements that the operator would see from the field. And that really helps for them for this kind of an adoption. One more point that I wanted to bring in here was the support services. Like it was being mentioned, when we talk about TCO and we talk about support services, the support that is now offered is very, very optimized from a cost point of view compared to what was being offered from a traditional tier one vendor. So that also helps, that helps operational costs to come down, and it helps elevate the stress that might be there for adopting this kind of an architecture. Like Ray was also mentioning and bringing in timing specifically for the DCSG, traditionally there was a requirement for having a dedicated clock source to provide synchronization in the front hall and the mid hall. So your typical RAN components would need a clock reference, your RU, DU, CU. But now with the DCSG solution and its extensive timing capabilities, IP Infusion along with its hardware partner UfiSpace are able to deliver a solution which is very, very highly competent and is feature rich when it comes to timing and synchronization. So PTP, Syncy, we have all the types of interfaces, and that really helps. So the additional hardware equipment which was there, that need not be there now. And the traditional cell site router with all its capabilities can now add the timing feature also to it. So one box solves multiple use cases in this sense. Yeah, that was the thing from my side.
Okay. Well, a very good point. So how do our customer think about this? Charles, it's your turn.
The introduction of a new DCSG technology by mobile operator require functional verification test in laboratory at the beginning. And the second step is to do a small scale POC, performance verification test. After confirming that the function and performance are in line with expectation, the actual deployment of live commercial network will be entered. Taiwan Mobile has deployed tens of thousands traditional cell site routers on 4G and 5G network. Because DCSG has the benefit of open specification, Taiwan Mobile is actively evaluating and laboratory testing now. Telco as an ecosystem partner, the current contribution is quite limited. If you really want to say something, telco can feedback the problems encountered in the existing laboratory test or small-scale test to the equipment for equipment improvement and optimization. I can take two Taiwan Mobile laboratory test question as an example. The question one, since the network topology of DCSG at the base station site is a built-in ring, the built-in ring protection mechanism is very important to telco. At present, we see that some DCSG vendors RLFA is so-called remote loop-free alternate. Protection mechanisms are not yet supported on the market, and the maintenance and network management mechanism are not yet fully prepared and need to be customized. That is problem one. Problem two is because some of DCSG needs are outside in Taiwan, there are no outdoor product on the market that have a natural fan ventilation. That's my feedback on telco.
I think the telco's feedback is very important. Whatever is in the initial stage, very beginning for the product development, the technical requirement from telcos is very important. But once you're into the get into the deployment stage, the feedback from telco also important because the live network is running, right? Then you put in a new node, like I said, a lot of problem will bump up, and then you see what will happen. So it seems like the telco is willing to open this market for the new player. Right? The new player can penetrate this market, bring up all the benefit that you mentioned to the telco. I think the telco is willing to see this happen in the future. But the important is the feedback. I will say, based on the standards, based on the openness, based on different very good technologies, you can develop a very good product. But does it fit the telco's requirement? Then is sometimes another story. A lot of operation feedback is good for the product itself. Right? Okay, let's come to the next questions. From end-to-end holistic view, how do you think the maturity level of disaggregate network product for the large-scale deployment? Okay, I think it's not a POC, it's not just a field trial, very small amount field trial. But for the large-scale commercial deployment, usually it's a very challenge, especially for the brownfield operators, I would say. So from this point, I will start from Charles because all these challenges, operation challenges, is very crucial for telcos when you see these for the new you invite all these new players into your market. Okay, Charles.
Yes, thanks, Howard. Since year 2018, telco abroad have commercial deployed of disaggregated network products such as AT&T, Telefonica, and Vodafone, etc. But in Taiwan, the three major telcos are currently in the laboratory or POC testing stage. As for the maturity of large-scale commercial use, I think at least it depends on the points I mentioned earlier already or not. Support complete built-in protection mechanism is the first one. First two is the mature maintenance and network management mechanism. This is very important. And the third one is support outdoor DCSG product equipment for fan nature ventilation function. That is our point.
Okay, good. All right. So next I'll invite Rishi. So what's your point?
Yeah. So we have also seen, multiple successful customer commercial deployments. So IP Infusion and UfiSpace have had successful deployments for the DCSG solutions in a very large scale. So we have those, and that is a proof point that the DCSG whole event is actually moving in the correct direction, because we're able to see these kind of successful deployments commercially. Now, one of the major factors to this is the kind of support that we have. So the DCSG solutions have support a lot of port densities and the speeds. So to target and to address the 5G network requirements, the systems have matured now. The DCSG solution provides a wide range of port densities and speeds. Based on various feedback from the telcos, the form factor is very compact. So typically we have seen that there are a lot of requirements when it comes to power and space. So the DCSG compact form factor is able to fit in those kind of requirements. So be it a roadside or be it a chassis kind of a cabinet, the power and space requirements are met very well. We have a wide range of switching capacities. So, based on the requirement, so because of the variance in the switching capacity, we can meet various price points and address various requirements. So all the way from 64 Gbps up to 300 Gbps, switching capacity solutions for DCSG are available now from IP Infusion and its partners like UfiSpace. Also, like we were discussing earlier, we work closely with system integrators to provide last mile deployment. So that also really helps and showcases the maturity that we are reaching with this solution. So, typically in a large scale kind of deployment, the last mile, the last hand holding is where the system integrator will come in. And we have helped system integrators to set up the deployments in a commercial kind of large scale scenario. That's the point from it.
Okay, good to hear that. Okay, seems like you have a lot of experience to deal with the large scale commercial deployment. Good. Yeah. Okay. So let's come to the last question that we have. Because previously we discussed about 6 months to 1.5 years for to penetrate the telco market. All these tests you have to go test procedures. You have to go through all these interops tests. You have to go through. It takes a lot of time. Okay, so. How do you think the OTIC and TIP community lab facility can help shorten these end-to-end test, interops test life cycle? Because from your point, okay, everybody want to shorten this period, right? So telco want to spend less resources, deal with this kind of testing. And if the third party can provide some test certificates or test report for them, probably they can take into consideration for the procurement. Okay. So from provider point of view, so all these time-consuming efforts can be shortened or not. Okay. So from your perspective, how do you think these third-party test facilities can help to resolve all these kind of issues? I will say I'll start from Ray. What's your point?
Okay, I think just like everyone mentioned, interop is actually a major challenge for both operators and solution provider, including hardware and nodes. UfiSpace and IP Infusion. So it's actually very difficult for supplier to provide end-to-end environment and also various equipment to complete the interoperability. So I think with TIP Community Lab, once the lab set up ready with all the product layer, actually we are a hardware solution provider, actually focus on our development and our product optimization. And we work with TIP, we work with node partner, submit the bugs to the TIP lab. And then we can easily interact with different equipment to complete the overall interoperability task. So it's actually a very large benefit for us to shorten the difficulty to complete the interoperability before we actually provide a proven product, proven solution to carrier. And also Taiwan is going to have our own TIP community lab. So it's also benefit for all the hardware solution provider here in Taiwan, and also benefit for all the local carriers, since we can actually provide the very, very instant support to the lab and also to our customer. And once the lab testing is completed, we can move to customer's lab, customer's environment to continue the interop and also running the live traffic.
Okay, thank you. Aseem, so any feedback on this?
Yeah, I would second with Ray, right? So it's really difficult for both the hardware and software vendors to really provide or get an end-to-end environment, right? So the TIP and OTIC communities are actually helping us getting a platform where, where all the vendors would come in and, we can do interoperability with different vendors and with the different vendor combinations. So that is actually a very helpful thing for all of us, for the whole ecosystem, to really develop and get to the right solution set for various operators. So that's a very good point. Actually, that's very helpful from both of these community labs. The other thing which I think also is good is that more or less all the community labs are operator-led labs. So generally, we put our equipments into an operator lab and try to align our network, our access network, to their real lab, which is more or less like a live network for them. Integrate ourselves there. So that's very beneficial, both from our point of view, from hardware point of view, and also from operators' point of view, because through TIP Lab, they get to educate themselves with the DCSG system. They get to educate themselves with the whole ecosystem and how the management would work, how the whole support system would work, who could be integrating with them for the system integration part. So all these things, and for us, it gives a very good insight onto how an operator network is and how we are integrating, how much we are integrating. It's a good learning. We come back and then we try to improvise ourselves again and then go back to the lab. So I think this is a very good thing for all of us, for the whole ecosystem to really develop into this openness, actually. So yeah, these are the 2 points which I have. And probably one more which I just gotten now is actually the badging system which they have also gives a very good insight to the operators with respect to, if the gold badging or a silver or a bronze badging, it gets to help operators as to how mature the system is and, what solution set they could pick up from the marketplace and things like that. So I think the overall, both the communities are really helping the whole global environment to get to white box and open market, actually. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your point.
Thank you.
Charles, from telco point of view.
Yes, from telco points of view, it's very helpful to have the OTIC and TIP community testing laboratory to assist end-to-end and interoperability testing. But how to shorten the life cycle of end-to-end and interoperability testing? I think we have a following 3 suggestions. Suggestion 1 is, I think it's manpower. Sufficient manpower is prepared to carry out end-to-end interoperability testing of among the O-RAN, DCSG, and core network of various combination of different brands. This is a suggestion 1. Suggestion 2 is continuity. End-to-end and interoperability testing must be a continuous work to maintain continuity capability of functions and versions, not just a one-time interconnection test. That is a very important point. Suggestion 3 is maintenance and network management. Maintenance and network management are extremely critical, and network maintainability is as important as equipment function and performance. That is our 3 suggestions.
Okay, very good point. I think all these 3 recommendations is very helpful for the product developers and the solution providers. Okay, I think we have done all the questions. I thank you all the panelists for your feedback and your very knowledge answers. I think it's very good for our audience. So thank you again. Now I turn the floor to Maggie.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you all for your sharing today to give our audience a very fruitful insight and suggestions. Also, thanks to our audience for taking part. Should you have any questions about our eTrees tip lab, also any questions to our panelists today, feel free to contact with me via the email that you can show on the video. Thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.